President Trump also announced a new trade deal with the UK. All that Britain demands in return is that we keep these two.
No! I refuse! I'm sick of it! Turns out Prince Harry and Meghan Markle will still get paid millions of dollars for doing absolutely nothing.
If you came up with the picture of an annoying, insufferable white woman, it would be Meghan Markle, even though she's not white.
Yeah, they were very worried about their safety, which I get that aspect of things. After 6 episodes, I wanted to attack them.
Meghan Markle has finally revealed why she and Prince Harry call each other M and H.
And he'll say M and you'll say H and your friends say M and it just is a thing.
It's a thing.
And do you both love it?
Yes, and I like nicknames a lot.
What could it be? A mystery for the ages.
Hey, what? It's the royal family! They're the original racists!
Elon built electric cars. He's going to Mars. Why isn't he even involving himself with Twitter? It would be like if the Prince of England gave it all up just to marry an actor from Suits. It will focus on Meghan Markle's character's struggle to balance her legal career while also caring for an unemployed immigrant.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle will still get paid millions of dollars for doing absolutely.
This is what happens when you bring the first black woman into the royal family. She looked at Harry and she's like, you need to get a job.
Racism was a big part of their decision to leave, which things are bad at Buckingham Palace if they came to America to get away from racism. They should hope that the kid looks more like Meghan than Harry. No offense, but Harry kind of looks like the guy who played Screech, may he rest in peace.
Because Harry and Meghan just got roasted so hard by every comedian in America that they might need to change their names and move to a different planet. We're watching something unprecedented here. Two people who had the entire world rooting for them somehow managed to turn themselves into the most mocked couple on Earth. This isn't just bad PR. This is a complete cultural rejection happening in real time, and the comedians smelled blood in the water like sharks circling wounded prey. Colin Jost fired the first shot on Saturday Night Live when he suggested America should trade Harry and Meghan back to Britain as part of a diplomatic deal. The audience went absolutely wild because everyone was thinking the same thing. These two had officially overstayed their welcome in the court of public opinion, and Jost just gave everyone permission to laugh about it. But that was just the opening act. What followed was a coordinated comedy assault from every direction that would make military strategists jealous. Late-night hosts, stand-up comedians, even cartoon shows started using them as shorthand for hypocrisy and entitlement. When South Park dedicates an entire episode to mocking your privacy tour while you're literally on a privacy tour, you know you've become a cultural punchline. The genius of these attacks wasn't just the jokes themselves, it was how they exposed the fundamental contradictions that everyone could see but nobody had been willing to say out loud. How do you demand privacy while signing Netflix deals? How do you claim to hate media attention while doing Oprah interviews? The comedians didn't create these contradictions, they just held up a mirror and let America laugh at what it saw. Jimmy Kimmel delivered one of the most brutal reality checks when he pointed out the absurdity of fleeing racism by moving to America. The logic was so simple that even a child could understand it. If racism was really your biggest problem in England, why would you run to the country that literally had slavery and segregation? Either their story didn't make sense, or their research skills were seriously lacking. But the real destruction came when comedians started attacking their work ethic. Joe Coy absolutely destroyed them at the Golden Globes by pointing out that they were getting paid millions for producing absolutely nothing. The joke hit different because he was telling it to a room full of people who actually had to work for their money, people who understood what it meant to earn a paycheck through actual results. Trevor Noah took it even further by imagining what Meghan must have thought when she first encountered royal work expectations. The joke painted her as someone who looked at centuries of royal duty and immediately started planning their escape to Hollywood where the money was easier and the work was optional. It wasn't just funny, it was devastatingly accurate. The mockery reached new heights when Stephen Colbert exposed their supposedly cute nicknames as the most corporate-sounding pet names in relationship history. M and H weren't romantic, they sounded like a consulting firm or a pharmaceutical company. These people had turned their own love story into a brand exercise, complete with focus group terminology. Stand-up comedians went even harder because they had no network censors to worry about. Ricky Gervais attacked their sense of entitlement by sharing stories about them expecting free everything at celebrity events. Tim Dillon called Meghan the most annoying person on the planet and backed it up with detailed analysis of her public statements. Chris Rock dismantled their racism claims by pointing out that even black parents want to know what their babies will look like. The British comedians were particularly savage because they understood the royal system better than American hosts. They could see through Harry's victim narrative because they knew exactly what privileges he was giving up and what responsibilities he was abandoning. When Simon Brodkin said he went from neutral to actively hating them after watching their Netflix show, it represented a broader cultural shift happening in real time. But nothing prepared anyone for the South Park episode that turned their entire narrative into animated comedy gold. The show's creators didn't just mock their behavior, they created a perfect visual metaphor by showing them flying around the world in a private jet screaming about wanting privacy through megaphones. The image was so perfectly absurd that it became the defining representation of their hypocrisy. South Park's genius was showing how their privacy tour was actually an attention-seeking tour disguised as victimhood. Every stop on their worldwide complaining marathon generated more headlines, more interviews, more Netflix specials. They weren't running from the media, they were feeding it while pretending to be its victims. The cartoon version of their story was more honest than their real version because it stripped away all the PR spin and showed the basic truth. Two privileged people who wanted all the benefits of royal status without any of the responsibilities, all the attention without any of the criticism, all the money without any of the work. Family Guy joined the pile-on by reducing them to their most basic elements. Harry became the unemployed immigrant living off his wife's celebrity status. Meghan became the Instagram-obsessed fame seeker pretending to want privacy. These weren't complex character assassinations, they were simple observations about obvious behavior patterns. The comedy reached its peak when even other celebrities started complaining about them. When famous actors are going on talk shows to whine about Meghan crowding their yoga classes, you know the narrative has completely spiraled beyond any hope of recovery. Hollywood had officially decided these two were more trouble than they were worth. But the most damaging evidence came from their own mouths during unguarded moments. Harry's awkward exchange with Colbert revealed someone deeply uncomfortable with his own choices, passive-aggressive about his situation, and completely out of his depth in normal social situations. The mask slipped for just a moment, but cameras caught everything. That Colbert moment crystallized why the comedy attacks were so effective. They weren't making fun of two people, they were exposing two people who had been performing roles they weren't equipped to handle. The Royal Harry and Meghan, glimpsed briefly between PR moments, were exactly as confused and contradictory as the comedians had been portraying them. The final verdict came when the laughter stopped being about specific jokes and started being about fundamental credibility. When Chris Rock, one of the most respected voices in comedy, dismisses your racism claims, when British comedians who understand your culture better than anyone turn against you, when even cartoons are more believable than your documentary, your story is officially over. What we witnessed wasn't just comedy, it was cultural justice delivered through laughter. The comedians became the voice of a public that had been lied to, manipulated, and taken for granted. They said what everyone was thinking but nobody else was brave enough to say. In a world where celebrities usually get protected by their industry, Harry and Meghan got completely abandoned by theirs. The saddest part is how avoidable all of this was. If they had chosen service over celebrity, humility over headlines, work over wealth, none of these jokes would have landed. But they chose the opposite path at every opportunity, and comedy has a way of punishing hypocrisy that no PR team can defend against. So here we are, watching two people who could have been beloved figures of positive change become the punchlines of their own story. The comedians didn't destroy Harry and Meghan, they just documented their self-destruction in real time and made it entertaining for the rest of us. The question now isn't whether they can recover from this comedy apocalypse, it's whether they'll learn anything from it. But based on their track record of doubling down on every mistake, don't hold your breath. The jokes aren't stopping anytime soon. Hit subscribe if you want more celebrity reality checks, drop your thoughts on whether they deserve this treatment. And remember that in the age of social media, everyone's watching and the cameras never lie. The comedians are just telling us what we already know but we're too polite to say out loud.